What's going on, guys? JHoyt back with you today. Welcome back to the Chicago Blackhawks, Episode 2, Franchise Mode. We have Part 2 of the rebuild of Chicago. Today's episode, our goal from November 5th, where we are right now, is to get to about January. I'll show you on the calendar, is kind of the first part of January. Kind of get through the next couple months and kind of see what goes. So we'll go, how about we go 5th to 5th? Okay, so we'll end January 5th on an off day before we head out to Pittsburgh. And let's just say, let's just be straight up honest. We haven't had the greatest of starts. 6-6-3 in the past 15 games. I mean, it's been decent. You know, we're still winning, obviously more than we're losing. Overall wise, not really. But, you know, 6-6-3, we're essentially 6-9, like I said in the last video. And at least we're doing better than teams like Montreal, and I actually ended up seeing the Islanders 1-12. So we're doing better than them. But we sit at a decent spot. Obviously, you know, it's way too early to be talking about the playoffs. But we do sit in 4th in our division. Overall wise, I'm not exactly sure. But let's go check it out. The lines. Now, if you guys don't remember last video, we kind of had Patrick Kane kind of dominating. No really question about it. I was kind of contemplating putting Taves on the second line. I ended up kind of throwing that idea out the window. I figured, hey, let's put our 3 big superstars on the same line, and then and see what happens from there. A couple of the other lines kind of got shook up a little bit, just to kind of, you know, shake things up, see what happens with our team. We're gonna try this first line now. If it doesn't work, we'll have to figure something else out, and we'll go from there. But we still have our second line intact. We moved Perlini up, Cahoon down, and then I think our 4th line stayed the same. Defense, I think, stayed the same. I don't remember actually changing this one. And then obviously our goaltenders are still the same. Did I go through and do the lines? I think I did? No, I didn't. Okay, so the lines are whatever right now. I don't think I actually did the lines. But let's get through it. Let's get through the rest of November here and see what ends up happening, because I didn't scout any trades. I didn't scout any signings. I did take a quick look at you know, our contract situation, what was happening. You know, a couple guys up for contracts this year. But let's go to right after this Calgary game, and see how our team's doing. Hopefully we can kind of improve our record and get more on a winning path, and continue on with that the rest of the season. AHL team, as you can tell, 11-3-1, are on a pretty dang good start to start the year. Now it looks like we have an incoming trade. Now, this is one thing I didn't do, was the trade block. But 2 seconds in Gilbert for Eric Johnson from Colorado. So let's go take a look. For this trade, we got 2 second-round picks. It'd be this year's second-round pick and next year's second-round pick, along with D. Gilbert. So Dennis Gilbert, he is a prospect of ours. I don't actually know anything about him, so he's not playing wherever he is. He is signed, so I guess he's in the AHL, just not playing. But let's go see what's he saying down there as far as one of our prospect goes. But he's down here. Where is he? So it looks like he is in the AHL. He's not playing currently, so he doesn't really have any trade value on him either, which is kind of interesting. But then 2 second-round picks. So let's go look at our pick situation. Because if we can get a guy like Eric Johnson, that'd be pretty solid. So, although if we're going to do this trade, I'd probably switch out this second for, it'd be 2021. Just because I don't want to only have a first-round pick and then not have a pick until the 4th round. It just wouldn't seem right. This year I would, because, you know, it's 1st and 3rd, and then the rest of them would be fine. But like I said, I'd grab a second-round pick from down here if we're going to do the trade. But as far as picks-wise, like I said, that's the only change I'd really make. Prospect, more than happy to get rid of. I mean, not really anything to us. Doesn't really have a lot of trade value. But Eric Johnson, let's see, 83 overall, top 4 defenseman, would definitely go into our top 4. We'd have to do something with one of our right-hand defensemen, possibly move Yokiharu down to the AHL, just so he can get some top-line minutes, and we wouldn't have to try to throw anyone on waivers and hope they sneak through. But 17 games played so far this year, 2 points, so not really the best. 10 penalty minutes plus 5, and he's playing a lot. So that's good to see. Former first-year overall pick. This is where it kind of gets me. $6 million for 5 years. We can scout him as well if we wanted to revisit this trade. Realistically, we'd probably get like 15, 20 points out of him. And I guess in a good year, we'd get 15, 20 points out of him. But could get up to 39, somewhere along that line. But he's been pretty solid as far as the defenseman goes. This year, he's not on a hot start, so it looks like he gets his points over the season rather than just in one little stretch. But let's kind of think this one through. So 2 second-round picks, like I said, I would change out the 1 for 2021. The prospects I don't really care about. This would be a pretty decent trade, to be completely honest. 2 second-round picks, they don't really want to give up, or his trade value is so low compared to like most defensemen. So what's their situation where they want to get rid of him? Because okay, so they have 2 first-round picks, their own and they are Colorado and Ottawa's. But let's see. So they have Tyson Barrie, obviously. They're doing well this season, so I don't really know why they would really want to do that. But with the offer on the table, like I said, the only thing I don't like about this trade is the contract. But if we ever decide that we want to get rid of that contract, if we just throw him on a trade block and kind of hold on to it until we get literally any type of trade, I think we'd be just fine. But all right, I think I've thought enough about this trade. Who is this? And why is he not signed? Brandon Sagan. 18 points in 28 points in 18 games. I kind of want to throw him in this trade. If you throw him in this trade, I'll do the trade. How about that? You throw in that guy, and we'll do the trade. Trade accepted. And I didn't change out the second-round pick. That's fine, though. It's done now. I'm not going to go back like I probably usually would have and remake the video and start from there. We'll just go with the mistake and move on. But we actually have to put this guy in our lineup. So let's stop it here. So it was a pretty good trade. Unfortunately, I didn't change the pick like I wanted to. I got kind of so hyped about that one little player that I kind of lost myself for a second. But let's go put him on. I'm assuming he's in the NHL. Yep, he is. So, like I said, Jokiharju, although he is doing good up in the NHL, I don't really want to send Murphy or Seabrook down or even put them out of the lineup. That would just be kind of a really stupid move. But let's take him out. Put in Eric Johnson. I guess we'll just put him on the top line right now. Let's send him down. I believe he goes straight down to the AHL. I don't think he has to go to juniors. Right? So he doesn't have to go through waivers, and he's clear. Okay, cool. So we'll put him in the AHL and let him play down there just to kind of let him do whatever he does. Play well, I guess. So that trade done and finished, I guess. We still got Kane at the top of the leaderboard. Didn't really have thoughts of wanting to make a huge trade, but with that, kind of reminds me, I need to go do the trade block, so that's what I'm going to do right now. We'll come back, we'll finish November, and see where our team's at. So the trade block done, and Johnson now in the lineup for our team. Jokiharju down in the AHL. Let's continue out, finish out the month of November. And let's also just say that we haven't really gotten much better with a tough opponent like LA that we just got smoked by 6-3. Our team's in a rough spot because we're kind of in between a good team and a terrible team because we still have like a good solid core of players, but it's everyone that's not those core of players that's struggling. So I don't want to just kind of go full on rebuild and just trade everybody for picks and prospects and everything. That would just be that'd be really stupid of me. But we got to figure something out because Patrick Kane, he's point per game right now, but he needs help. Someone needs to help him out with points. Let's go check out and see what is going on with our team. So a couple of interesting things. We have a lot of guys after Kane that are all doing decent. So with the exception of our fourth line, everyone is doing great. Not great, but it's doing not what it's supposed to be. So we gotta figure out a way to make these lines somehow work. And that's going to be surrounded by Patrick Kane. Who can we put on a line with him to make him perform better and make everyone else perform better that's around him? So what I'm seeing right now while I'm trying to, glance through this is that we have kind of 3 goal scorers that are focused on more goals than anything. And that's Kane, Kujula, and Saad. So if we put Kane on our first line, Saad on our second line, and Kujula on our third line as those scorers, we can kind of surround them with that. So it looks like we're going to put Taves on our... Here, we'll just go into the actual screen so you guys can kind of follow along of what I'm thinking. Because we're doing all right, but we can always improve. So, Strome on the second line, yes, he's doing fine, but we need someone that's performing a little bit better right now. Anisimov, he's been playing pretty good. He's second on our team right now in points. I mean, he's definitely earned that spot more than anyone. But let's swap him over there. So we have Kane, so we need to move Saad down to this line. So that kind of separates our 3 scorers. Kane, Saad, and Kujula. That separates them. So we don't really have to worry about that. Although I would love to put Saad on that line, I just don't feel like that's right. Now, who are we going to put where? So we have Perlini. DeBrincat definitely deserves to be up there. I think he was he third on our team? I believe he was. Yeah, 19 points. So I think, he's tied with Anisimov. So realistically, he could be on our first line. But, kind of creates a really good second line as well. So I kind of like these lines in a way. Yeah, because I had Perlini and Kujula on that third line before, and they didn't really perform the way I wanted them to. So I think we're going to stick with what this is. As far as our fourth line goes, I mean, I don't really know what to do this line because, Hayden is just kind of there. Krug is a good a good face-off guy. And Kunitz is just kind of there. I don't really know what to do with that line. So that line's just going to kind of stay there. Johnson, since we've got him, he's gotten 4 more points. So he's already doing better than where he was. Was it 14 games played? He had 2 points or something like that. So instantly he's doing better. I did try to look for a trade for a second-line left-hand defenseman. Didn't really find anything that would work. I'll kind of keep what I was looking for in the bag just in case we end up doing it later on. I'll be like a real GM here and just keep you guys waiting. So, other than that, I mean, we're just in a really weird spot right now. Cam Ward seems to be doing all right. I mean, he's winning more games than he's losing, which is always good. And then Corey Crawford, just not performing. So that's obviously something that we need to address. Now, 88 overall goaltender, should be performing, but he's not. So we have to try to make our other lines work because we're not going to go out and trade our starting goaltender. That just doesn't make sense. But our AHL team's performing down here. I don't really know what else to say about these guys. I mean, somehow this team is performing. I put all of the guys that are actually signed in the lineup. So, I mean, you guys can kind of tell. If you're a guy like Yokiharu, I mean, he's got 2 points since he's been down there. But our top 4 down here is doing pretty well and is actually good overall. So, whatever's working down here is definitely working. Forsberg, might have to bring him up and sign another guy for the AHL because Delia is performing as well, and I don't believe we have a 6th goalie on our roster. So that's something we got to look at. Probably try to get that soon. And I think we're also maxed out on contracts, so we'll have to trade away somebody and in the efforts of getting another goaltender into the organization, which would probably just be an AHL guy, nothing really too crazy. But we'll probably do that closer to the trade deadline, looking towards the playoffs if we end up getting there. But let's continue on. I've kind of blabbered on long enough about that. But let's get into it. December 5th. What can we do here to try to fix our ship for this year? Because we do have our first round pick in case we don't end up doing well. And that's kind of how it's looking to go this year, 10-18. You look at a team like Pittsburgh that's always on top. You look at our record. We're not doing too great. So this might be the year of just trying to get a good player in our organization and, from the draft. And kind of not giving up on this year. But, I mean, you can kind of see our record. Our goalies aren't performing. Our team's not performing. And we're just going a lot of games with a lot of losses. So I also threw a couple guys up on the trade block, such as Martinson here, and just to kind of the older guys that are like I don't really care about because I want to play the younger guys. But again, he's just kind of not nothing, but he's not really much of anything for us. So I'm gonna accept this trade. I'm gonna try to get just the 5th. I don't really want to give up a 7th if I don't have to, but I guess we will if we need to. I don't know what 7th that was. I guess it's from this year. But yeah, we have another one from Anaheim. So let's just throw this one in there. Get rid of him. And now we have the extra roster space if we need it. But I'll do the lines real quick. And then we'll try to finish out the month. And try to come up with a game plan for the rest of the year. I almost wish there was a thing like the conditioning loans in this game as there are in real life. Because I'd probably throw almost both of our goalies down the AHL for a month or a couple weeks or something, just to kind of get out of the groove of the NHL and try to get their groove back. And they're just not performing. I mean, 31 points is absolutely terrible. I mean, let's take a quick look at the lines. I know this video is a little bit longer than usual. But let's go entire league and probably just sort it straight to the bottom because there's no way we are even remotely close to the top. Chicago, 30th overall. I mean, the Islanders are the only team that's even close to us. So number 30. So we sit at, 31 points. I mean, I want to go look at their roster. I'll do that after we're done with today's video. We've looked at all the other teams at the bottom here. We seem to be scoring more goals than majority of them. But as far as goals for overall go, I mean, we're still actually down there when you look at it. So goals seem to be the problem. Goals against, I didn't actually look at our team. But so we're allowing a lot of goals, so our defense has to improve. Power play, we got 33 power play goals. So our power play is somehow working. 19.3%. Not the best, but also definitely not the worst. What else we got? Penalty kill percentage. We are somewhere in the middle of the pack. And then we have records. I mean, you can kind of tell wherever we are. Yeah, 3-6-1 in the last 10. Something you just don't want to see if you're our team. We're just struggling more at home than away, which is obviously not good because something in the what is it? Is it the United Center? Or am I thinking of something else? I'll have to go look of what our arena is called. But we're struggling at home right now. We're struggling away. We're struggling in the last 10. Something's got to change. That change will hopefully come sometime soon. And I don't know. We have to make up a plan, figure it out. This year's most likely a lost cause because I don't really feel like, 30th overall in the league right now, that we really have a chance for anything. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Nothing really much more to talk about in this one. Our team's struggling all around. We're not scoring enough goals. Our defense isn't good. Our goalies aren't performing. So everything just overall not working. So in the meantime, I'll try to look for trades, look for signings, look for whatever can possibly make our team better. And going into the next video, we will see what that plan looks like. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today. If you did enjoy, hit the like button down below. If you have not already, hit the subscribe button. And as always, guys, we'll see you next time.